Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Emmeline Crutcher and I am the founder of Tree of Life Temple. Today I'll be sharing a short somatic exercise with you all that will help us to drop into our bodies and to connect with specific parts of our bodies that maybe want some attention from us. Before we get started, I am going to give a short transmission, but I would like us all to be able to receive that transmission from a place of centered conscious awareness, okay? An awareness that's really dropped and grounded into our bodies. So the first thing that I'd like us all to do is an exercise called orienting. And what is orienting? The first thing that we want to do is we want to drop our consciousness into our body. So most of the time, our consciousness, our higher brain consciousness, if you will, that prefrontal cortex, higher brain consciousness that other mammals don't have, it lives here. And it kind of resides in our thinking brain. And it does a lot of beautiful things, helping us get through the day, plan all of the things, do all of the things, right? But what happens when we bring that consciousness? What happens when we bring that higher brain consciousness down into the body? So let's just do that. Let's just bring it down, almost like doing a quick body scan, from the top of your head all the way down, just kind of, quick body scan. Like, I feel that I have a body. I can feel my torso. I can feel my pelvis. I can feel my legs. I can feel my feet. And now I just want you to connect with whatever areas of your body are being supported by a surface. So if you're standing, that's going to be your feet. If you are sitting, maybe your feet are on the ground, so it's still going to be your feet, but your legs are also being supported. Your butt is being supported, maybe by a chair, a sofa, maybe the floor. Maybe your back has some support from a chair or a sofa or a pillow. And just notice that. Notice the parts of your body that are grounded to the earth, that are, supported by this physical environment that we're in. And just feel those parts of your body and see what sensations are there. What do the soles of your feet feel like when they're in contact with the ground? What do your legs feel like? What do your sit bones feel like? What does your back feel like? Just connect with these sensations. There's nothing that's wrong. There's nothing that's right. Maybe you feel a lot. Maybe you feel tingling. Maybe you feel heat. Maybe you feel pain. Maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe it's just very numb. And this is okay too. And if you feel this, know this is very common. It's a very common symptom of today's society. And so if you do feel numb, just notice that. Just notice what numb feels like. And if you can, just feel the actual physical pressure, okay, of being on the floor or being on a seat. What does just the physical pressure of that feel like on your body? What does that contact feel like? And whatever it is, it's okay. But just try to stay connected to those parts of your body that are being supported by the earth. And as we're connected to those parts of our body, we want to then bring our awareness, while remaining connected, we want to bring our awareness to our external environment. And we can turn our head and look around, but do it slowly. Everything that you do slowly, do it mindfully. And when we do this, we want to do it in a way that is not projecting outward. that is not seeking and searching for what is there, but that is very receptive. How can we be very receptive to everything in our environment and just allow what's in our environment to flow through our visual senses? And just notice in a very receptive way what's there. And hopefully you notice that you're in an environment that feels relatively safe, where your body can feel relatively safe. And if you're not, then I would recommend that you pause this and come back at a time when you are in an environment where your body feels relatively safe. Because when we begin to do this work, we want to do it in safety. Okay? It's pretty important, because for the most part, we have lived our lives very disconnected from our bodies and very disconnected from the difficult emotions that are part of the spectrum of human emotions and human existence. So as we start to bring our consciousness back into our bodies and to notice what's there and hold space for what's there, we need to do it in a way that is really slow and really gentle and really mindful. We have to understand that for most of us, for most of humanity, regardless of where you were raised by parents who have dysregulated nervous systems. And this doesn't mean that you were raised in an abusive household or in a household where there was a lot of chaos or, a lot of trauma, right? For a lot of us, we have that. We do have that. We have a lot of trauma. But for a lot of people, it can be more subtle. And for the people where it's more subtle, you may not actually understand that we were programmed in a certain way, because there weren't like any big T traumas, in your childhood or in your life. But regardless of kind of your life experiences and your childhood and, what all you might be carrying from that, it's important that we recognize that we live in a society today that rewards suppressing your impulses, suppressing the impulses that your body gives you. And that is, that's something that we have to come to terms with, and we have to start to rectify if we want to build a conscious and loving relationship with our body. And why would we want to do that, right? Why is this important? And the short answer for that is, this is how we heal our bodies. This is how we heal our relationships, those with ourselves and those with others. And this is how we step into more of our conscious creator power in this life, on this earth. I do see this existence as a collaboration between our body, our mind, and our soul. And spirituality has historically focused a lot on the spirit, the soul, and the mind, wisdom, right? There's a lot of wisdom teachings in spirituality. But we have historically kind of forgotten about the body, and in a lot of ways, we've even dismissed it as something that is meant to be transcended or overcome. In my experience, this is not the lesson that we're here to learn, right? This is not why we incarnated. We did not incarnate in this form to overcome it. We incarnated in this form to learn to collaborate. Because everything that we are experiencing, it is a part of self. But when we fractal off into different parts of self, we can learn how to collaborate. And it's really, really a beautiful, beautiful opportunity and a gift to be on this earth in this body, if we can learn to see it as that and see it for what it really is. So, how do we learn to collaborate with our bodies, right? As I was saying before, there's a lot of things that we learned in childhood, that we've learned just through, kind of larger programming, right? Larger societal programming. And we really have to start to become aware of all of this. We need to learn how our nervous systems work. We need to learn how our bodies work. And we need to understand that in most cases, we were not taught how to hold space for all of our emotions. And so we have a lot of emotions and a lot of nervous system patterns that are stuck in the body. And when things get stuck, they cause disease. They cause chaos in our lives. They cause us to keep going through the same loops of experiences, and specifically the same loops of experiences that are causing you to experience the same emotions, right? The same energies over and over again, because we have not learned to hold space for those energies. So how do we learn to hold space for energies, right? How do we learn to understand our body and the whole breadth of experience and emotions that our bodies can feel, which is amazing, right? We get to experience duality through these bodies. We get to experience the lows and we get to experience the highs. So how do we learn to hold space for the lows as much as we hold space for the highs? Because it's all just energy. It's all just energy. The stories and the value that we assign to it is what makes one different than the other, truly. So how do we start to unpack everything that's in our body? And how do we get our body to start talking to us? Because our bodies are wise, right? Our bodies are literally the compilation of every single one of our ancestors, human and non-human. And that's incredible. That is an incredible amount of wisdom. Like that library of wisdom that we have in our bodies that goes all the way back to the beginning of the earth is, if you can tap into that, that is everything, right? That is everything we could need and want on this earth. But we have to learn to collaborate. We have to learn to listen. Because we have this body and we have this mind, but we also have this soul, right? That continues to live on after our body and our mind die. And we can look at our body and our minds. It's like a house. It's like a temporary home for our soul. And just like we take care of our home and we love our home, we have to take care of our body and love our body. But unlike, a house, our body has its own divine consciousness. Our body carries its own wisdom. And if we can learn to allow our higher brain consciousness, our conscious creator beingness, to collaborate with the old wisdom that resides in our body, that's when we can step into this role of conscious creator on this earth. That is how that can happen, right? But we have to learn to collaborate, and we have to learn to listen. We have to learn to listen. And it's really hard for our body to convey a lot of wisdom to us when we have like all of this stuff stuck in there, that's been stuck in there for years and years and years and years, right? It's like we have to clear out the stuff first. But we can't just go in and start trying to toss things out, right? That's not how the body works. If you go in with force and with an agenda, the body's just gonna and like clamp down, like double down on holding everything that's in there, right? Because to the body, this stuff is important. This stuff kept you alive. It kept you safe. And if it doesn't feel that it's being heard and it's being listened to, it's like, crap, we got to hold on to this because we got to keep this person safe. Like, they don't understand. They don't know what's going on. And so until we can get like our higher brain consciousness, our soul and our body in alignment and communicating with each other and in like a true collaboration, things are not going to flow quite right. But we have to go into this slowly, and we have to go into it without an agenda, right? Like our soul consciousness is the observer. That is the observer consciousness. And so how can we bring that observer consciousness into our body? Just for that purpose, just to observe what's there. And as you can learn to hold space for everything and observe everything that's there without judgment, without condemnation, without wanting it gone, then things will start to move. Because holding on to all of this is not our natural state. It's not like our highest state of being. So it will naturally move when you learn to hold space for everything that's there. And when you start to, for lack of a better word, convince your body that you're present with it and that you can hold space for the breadth of everything that it can experience. And that it doesn't have to hold on to things. It doesn't have to hold on to things because you're there and you can allow it to be processed, right? So when we move into this, we want to, it's easier if we have like an analogy, a way to think of it. And a good analogy for this, even though I would say from my perspective it's not like entirely accurate, it's a pretty good analogy because our subconscious has this already programmed into it because it's a pretty largely held belief of the subconscious, and that is that our body is feminine, right? It's like the feminine aspect of self. And that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, right? We're not talking about like human gender here. We're talking about the fact that we're all in a body. If you're watching this, you're in a body. So we can think of the body as like the feminine aspect of self, knowing that, you know, we are all made up of polarity. We are all made up of feminine and masculine aspects. And that body then is like the receptive vessel, right? And so it receives and it magnetizes. It draws in, right? Whereas that higher brain or that like soul consciousness that lives on after the body is gone, that is the masculine, okay? That's like the masculine aspect of ourselves, of our consciousness. And that penetrates the body, right? That has the ability to penetrate the body. So if we want to think about this from that aspect, we need to understand that in most cases, our like soul consciousness, that like masculine aspect of self, has actually been pretty abusive to our body. It's been forcing it to do things that it doesn't want to do, that don't feel right, that, you know, that it does, like energy doesn't flow, right? It's been forcing our body to do things in ways where energy doesn't naturally flow. And so we have to be mindful of that, right? And this is, again, this is not about human male and female, right? We do this to ourselves. And because we have been living in a state for so long where we have been doing this to ourselves, yes, you can look outside and you can see that this is happening externally too, like in our dualistic reality, where there's this abuse of power. But as above, so below. What is within so it is without. This starts with us, okay? This starts with our relationship to self, and it starts with our relationship between our soul consciousness and our body. So when we move into this, we have to understand that from our body's perspective, this has been kind of an abusive relationship. And so we can't just go in and start being like, all right, let's clear all this stuff out. It doesn't work like that. We have to build trust. And that takes time. And it takes doing things in a manner that is slow, in a manner that is gentle, in a manner that is mindful. And we have to mean it. It can't just be like, because we have an agenda in mind, right? And when you start, maybe it is because you have an agenda in mind. But as you start to build the relationship and you see how beautiful that relationship and that experience actually is, then it becomes different, right? This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. And it is so beautiful. So just trust that. And trust that if you can be gentle with yourself and gentle with your body, that things are going to start to flow and that your external reality is going to shift. Massively, massively shift. So let's go ahead and kind of move into the practice. And when we do this, we want to just move our body a little bit. Maybe take a few deep breaths. Just let your body know, okay, we're going to move into something different now. We're done listening to this person talk. And we're going to do something different. And we want to orient again. Always orienting, always orienting. And just feel your feet or your legs or your sit bones, maybe your back against whatever's supporting your body on the earth. Notice your external environment from a receptive manner. And just, notice it, notice the safety in it. And see if you can feel that safety in your body. See if your mind and your body agree that your external environment is safe. Or if maybe your body is telling you something else. And that's okay. Just notice whatever it is. Whatever it is. And whatever it is, you can just tell your body, I am here. And you don't need to tell your body that it's safe because your body might not trust that. Your body might not have felt safe for a long time. So it's not about telling your body what it is and what it isn't. It's about saying, I am here. I am here for whatever you're feeling. So just notice that. Notice it. Be there with it. And just start to drop more deeply into your body. And if it feels good to close your eyes and do this, you can close your eyes. But you can also keep your eyes open. See what feels right, right now in the moment. And maybe you do this practice again at a later date and you do it differently. And that's okay. But just see what feels right now. And just drop into the body. Feel what sensations are first calling your attention. What parts of your body maybe feel like they want some attention from you? Like they just need some support. Or they have something to tell you. And maybe there's a spot that immediately calls you. And maybe nothing calls you. And just notice that, whatever it is. There's no right, there's no wrong. And if you feel a spot that is calling to you, go ahead and put your hand on it. And, try to do it in a way where you're comfortable. If there's a spot maybe on your back that isn't easy to reach or comfortable to reach, then you can actually just place your hand on the front of your body in the same place that spot's calling you on the back, and you can connect to it from your front instead of your back. You can just connect to it through the tissue of your body, right? And if you did not find a spot, if there's no spot that's calling your attention, or maybe your body's very numb and you just don't feel a lot, then just use your intuition and just pick a spot. Just pick a spot on your body and place your hand there. And just connect to that. And again, this can be with eyes open, with eyes closed. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's simply connecting with your body. And just feel the sensations on your hand that are touching the body. And then feel the body. Feel that spot on your body that was calling for some attention. What are the sensations that are there? Maybe you feel a buzzing, maybe a little tingling, maybe some warmth, a vibration, a pulsing. Maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe it feels quite numb. And again, if it does feel quite numb, that's okay. This is quite common in our society for our bodies to become numb. And if your body is numb, if that's the case, just try to feel the sensation of the pressure of your hand on the skin, or of your hand on the fabric of your clothing, and that clothing pressing against your skin. And just be with whatever is there. Whatever comes up. And maybe as you're allowing your attention to just be there in that spot on your body, maybe emotions come up. And just notice that. Notice the emotions. And just allow them to be. Just pay attention. There can even be memories that come up. As we continue to focus our attention on the spot. And if there are memories that come up, just notice them. Notice the emotions that it brings up within you. And just stay with it. Stay with that spot. Stay with the sensation. If you're having memories that come up, try not to get caught up in the storyline. Just allow the story to disappear and just stay with the emotions. Stay with the emotions behind the story. Just keep feeling into what's there. Now we want to start bringing some breath to that area. So just notice your breath. You don't necessarily need to change it. Oftentimes, as soon as we notice our breath, it changes, and that's okay. But just start directing your breath to the spot, wherever it is. And if maybe it's on your arm or your leg, or a place where your lungs don't reach, that's okay. Just imagine sending the air that's filling your lungs down through the extremities of your body to reach that spot. And just imagine that air that's coming in through the breath, bringing warmth, bringing some flow. Maybe bringing a little bit of spaciousness to that area that you're working with. Just giving it a little bit of warmth and comfort and spaciousness to move around a little bit if it wants to. And if it doesn't want to move around, that's okay too. There's no agenda here. We're just starting to explore what's there and what's calling our attention in our body. Just keep breathing into that spot. Just gently bringing it your breath and your attention. Noticing anything that comes up as you bring this extra element of presence to the area. And now maybe, if it feels good, we can start to bring a little bit of sound to that area of our body. A little bit of vibration of sound. And so that can be as simple as just humming on the exhale. And just see what sounds want to come out. On your exhale, and just send them through your hand to that spot in your body. And just feel if that body part that you're in contact with, that you're bringing all of your consciousness to. See if there's a specific sound vibration that it would like. And just play with this. Play with allowing different sounds to come out on the out breath. Maybe your hum turns into something else. And play with different pitches, different frequencies. And just hum to it, sing to it, vocalize to it as you would a child. In a way that is comforting, that is caring, that allows it to know that you are here and that you feel what is there. And you're willing to hold space for what is there. Just keep vocalizing on the out breath in whatever way feels right, allowing the sound frequencies to change and flow with whatever you're feeling. Always keeping your attention on this area of the body that you're in contact with. And maybe there's something in that spot that wants to move, or that has a message for you. And just see what wants to happen. And if there's movement that wants to happen, allow that to happen. Hold space for that to happen. And if there's no movement that wants to happen, then hold space for that stillness and for that staticness of whatever is in that spot that you're communing with. You Continuing to hum, to sing to that spot. And slowly allow your vocalizations, your humming, your singing to come to an end. Just take some deep breaths. Maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Whew. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. Whew. Just whatever feels right in your body. Just some deep breaths to like reset. And go ahead and slowly thank this part of your body for playing with you today, for being in collaboration with you today, for allowing you to be present and to have this experience with it. Say thank you. And then as you feel like your thank yous with your body are complete, you can go ahead and allow your hand to move and allow your consciousness to become more aware of your whole body. Go ahead and let it kind of radiate out from that spot through your entire body. We want to reorient, feel our feet on the ground, our legs, our sit bones, maybe our back against whatever is supporting us, and feel that. And just look around again, allowing whatever's in your environment to flow into your consciousness through your sense of sight. And just notice how you feel. See if you feel different than you did when you started the exercise. And if you did, how? And if you didn't, it's okay too. Just notice that you feel the same. And as you go throughout your day and the days following this one, try to bring this practice of orienting into your everyday life as you're moving through life. We want to begin to become aware and present, not just when we're sitting in meditation or when we're sitting in prayer in a quiet space undisturbed. We must start to cultivate presence when we're out in the world, interacting with people, working, taking care of our children, running errands. And so as you walk through life, try to remember, feel my feet on the ground. And while you feel your feet on the ground, while you have that embodied presence, notice your environment. Notice what's around you and notice that you can interact with your external environment and your internal environment at the same time. Begin to build those neural connections. And you can connect to your body throughout the day as well. Even when you're standing in line at the grocery store, maybe there's a spot. Maybe there's a spot on your body that's calling your attention and you feel it. And maybe you're standing in line at the grocery store, maybe you're in a meeting at work. And you can just bring your hand there and bring some attention to that spot. And see what it feels like to bring some attention to that spot in your body while you're out and around. And it doesn't have to be a deep practice like what we just did. So it's just simple. It's just like momentarily putting our hand and internally saying, I see you, I feel you, I'm here. I'm holding space for whatever needs to happen here. And that can be just a few seconds. And then you can put your hand down and you can go out and about your day. Maybe remembering to bring some conscious awareness to that spot throughout the day. Okay? These practices are very simple, but they're very, very powerful if done consistently over time. And we want to be gentle. We want to be gentle with these practices always, but especially when we start. Because what can happen when we start doing these practices is the things, the emotions, the experiences that we've suppressed can come up. And when they come up, they can be very intense. Okay? So we want to understand that if that happens, this is a good thing. This is what we want. But we have to slowly build capacity to be present with this as it comes up, right? It doesn't happen overnight. This is nervous system capacity that we must build. And so beginning to build presence and awareness of the sensations, the emotions, the feelings, everything in our body, when we're in a state of rest, when we're in a state of feeling relatively safe, we need to cultivate that so that when those big emotions start to come up, to be seen and to be processed, we can hold space for that. But it's a practice. Just like going to the gym. You're not going to go into the gym and put like the most weights you can put on a bar and start lifting it. It's going to like crush you. Same thing with this. Let's not crush ourselves, right? Like, let's be gentle with ourselves. Let's be gentle with our bodies. Always with awareness, okay? Always with awareness. And yeah, just enjoy the practices. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or if you'd like to deepen into any of these practices, please reach out and we can connect. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention, and for committing to these practices and to this path. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.